Days ago, crooked Joe Biden gave one of the most dangerous and deluded speeches ever delivered from the Oval Office. It was disaster. Not only presentation, which wasn't too good, it's the words that were really bad. Less than 1 week after, innocent men, women, children, and babies were kidnapped, raped, tortured, slaughtered in the worst terror attack in Israeli history. It was the worst in their history, actually. Babies, I guess they said 42 babies with their heads chopped off. Think of that one. They don't even want to talk about it. Crooked Joe went before the American people and said that if you want to support Israel, then you have to give a blank check for the proxy war also in Ukraine, having to do with Russia and Ukraine, which is another one, by the way, it would have never happened if we were president. If we didn't have that election, you wouldn't have that. You wouldn't have inflation. You wouldn't have had the attack on Israel. You wouldn't have had a lot of the horrible things. The world is exploding. If you take a look, I mean, the whole world is exploding. You know, I was very honored as a man. Viktor Orban. Did anyone ever hear of him? He's probably like one of the strongest leaders anywhere in the world. And he's the leader of, right? He's the leader of Turkey. Fronts on both Russia. Yeah, you could sit down. We'll be here for a little while. We got plenty of time. What the hell? I'm very honored that you're all standing, but sit down. They'll be standing in a couple of minutes as soon as we say some of the things they like, because they're waiting. They're waiting for that. But Viktor Orban, and he's the head of Hungary, and he runs it tough. Let me tell you, he runs it properly. He runs it strong with crime and everything else. He runs it strong, and he doesn't let terrorists into his country. They said, what do you recommend for Joe Biden if you could tell him anything? I tell him to resign and let Trump become president, because nobody ran China, Russia, North Korea. Nobody ever did a job like Trump did a job. I tell him to get out, let Trump run things like he was doing for 4 years. Little truth to that, maybe a lot of truth to that. Biden said that if you want to stop terrorists, then you have to give him billions of dollars to support illegal aliens invading the United States. You know, many of the people coming in, you notice there are so many young men, young, strong men, and they're coming in from areas that are right now in war. A lot of different areas. We have a lot of wars going on all over us. We had no wars. We beat ISIS, 100% of ISIS. You know what we did. But we have a lot of different spaces. You could very much end up in World War III because we have an incompetent president. You know, the United States has such a tremendous influence on what's going on in the world, and a lot of people didn't realize it until lately. You have to be respected as a country. Maybe feared, but really respected. You have to be, at a minimum, respected. Joe Biden's speech was a grotesque betrayal of Israel and a confused mess of neocon warmongering. An American last lunacy. American last. They want America last, ladies and gentlemen. Pushing conflict abroad and distracting from as many disasters at home. I mean, look at home. Look at what's going on. And you haven't even seen them. They've allowed, I believe, 15 million people into the country from all of these different places like jails, mental institutions. And wait till you see what's going to happen with all those people. They're not coming in just because they like our weather. They like our weather. They're coming in for a lot of bad reasons. Crooked Joe can't even walk up the children's stairs in Air Force One, you know? Now, doesn't that look terrible? You see a man come at you, want to see a man walk out, or woman, walk off Air Force One, nice and high, wave to everybody. This guy goes through the little stairs. We call them the children's stairs. And now he's made it a common practice because he can't quite make it up or down. I think he has a bigger time making it up. Usually that's it's supposed to be easier. I don't know. Let's not even think about it. Or find his way off a stage. He can't find his way off a stage. You ever see the makes a speech, if you call it that? Okay, thank you. And they're screaming at him. They're saying, no, you got there, you got... I mean, he can make a bad speech, but you got to be able to see, you know, you came in here, I can even go out there, I see there's an exit there, exit here, you got exits all over. It's unbelievable. And this guy's in charge of the most dangerous time in our history. He's in charge of it. And the weaponry is so massive and so powerful that this won't be World War II or World War I with army tanks running around shooting at each other. World War III will be an obliteration. It'll be something like nobody's ever seen before. And we have a man that's not capable. He's not capable. They're really good at cheating on elections, but that's not him. That's a whole group of radical left lunatics. To every American who's terrified that Crooked Joe's weakness will cause catastrophic global conflict, excuse me, it already is. I make this promise to you as president. I will restore peace through strength, and we will stop World War III. We will not have World War III. And I know all the players. I know them all. I know them all. Because it was Joe Biden, with his weakness and what he did with Iran and others, that caused the attack on Israel. That's very simple. They would have never attacked. They would have never attacked Israel. Never. Russia would have never attacked Ukraine. You wouldn't have inflation. You wouldn't have any inflation right now. It was energy that went up like skyrocketed. He stopped it. Just no more. Let's have everything. Thank you. He sounds like a good candidate. Who said that? Who said that? Stand up. Let me see. He's a real man. He's a real man. Unlike Joe Biden, I will stand with our friend and ally, the State of Israel, 100%. We'll stand with them 100%. And unlike Crooked Joe, I will fully support Israel's mission of ensuring that the terrorist group Hamas is defeated, dismantled, and permanently destroyed. They have to destroy them. And they have to be careful in their type of attack. Going in is a lot of risks to that, with the mines that are put all over the place in the tunnels probably. You know, bad things can happen. There's other ways of doing it also, but they know what they're doing and they have to do it right. But they have to be tough and they have to win. They have no choice. They have to win. Even as Biden was speaking, Iranian proxies were attacking U.S. military assets in the region. As he's speaking, they're actually shooting into our different military bases, forts. They're shooting in missiles, and we're saying, like, oh, it's okay, just another day. It's not another day. You remember when I did something to Iran and they shot missiles? Well, those are typically very accurate missiles, but did you notice every single one of them missed, right? I wonder why they missed. I wonder why they missed. They went at a certain base that we had, a lot of people in that base, but they all landed a little outside the base. I wonder why. Someday you're going to think about that. Then you're going to think about, did we know they weren't going to hit the base too? But they didn't hit us. They needed some kind of reply, I guess, but they didn't hit us. Crooked Joe is not feared, he's not respected, and he's regarded by our enemies as a joke. They don't even believe it. When I'm president, America will be respected again like never before, just like never before. And our enemies will know that if they harm a single American, we will hit them faster and harder than they've ever been hit before. In addition, upon my inauguration, and it's our inauguration, I call it, our. It's not mine, it's our. We have to bring our country back. It's not an easy thing to do. Would you believe what's happened to the USA in the last 3 years? But I will immediately reinstate all sanctions on the murderous Iranian regime. You have to do that till we have a deal. If you will not enforce sanctions against Iran, then you do not stand with Israel. It's that simple. It's all about Iran. It's not about these others. It's all about Iran. They know everything that's going on. They probably laid out the game plan. And Joe Biden won't do it. I wonder how much money he's receiving from Iran, do you think? Gets a lot from China, that we know. But I will do it. When I came into office, Iran had $70 billion in foreign exchange reserves. It was loaded up with money. That's from Obama. It's piggy bank. Its piggy bank was full, and it was also full of terrorists. By the time I left, they had nothing. They were broke. They were broke. The Iranian regime could barely afford to turn out the lights, and we had a lot of interesting discussions. We would have had a deal with Iran, one that was good for everybody, one that was good for them. They might have not have known it at the time, but it would have been good for them. But that not give them access, we cannot give them access to nuclear weapons. We would have had a deal within 1 week after the election. I believe that. I believe that. They were ready to make a deal because they were so, they were poor. They were actually poor. China, I said, if you buy, you're not going to deal with the United States, so we're going to tariff you at a level of about 100% on everything you do sell in. I said that to India, too. I said it to other nations, and they weren't buying oil from Iran at all. They weren't buying any oil, and Iran was not doing well. And the 70 billion that they had was actually, I think, closer to 100 billion. It disappeared very rapidly. And if you notice, all of the problems, all of the big problems, they all stopped. And I never talked about it during my 4 years, but look what happened. We didn't have any attacks in the United States for 4 years. I never wanted to say it during, because I can't say it. I wanted to, for 2 years I wanted to say, look how good things are. We had the ban, we had the whole thing banned. They said, oh, that's such a terrible thing, a ban from horrendous, dangerous nations. We had a ban. I think that's okay. But we didn't have an attack for 4 years. About 2 days after I left, I said, how good did we do? We did great. We did great because we were respected and probably feared. But the election was rigged and it was stolen, and sadly, Crooked Joe surrendered my tough sanctions immediately to Iran. And now, once again, Iran probably has close to $100 billion to finance terror, and Israel's paying a big price. They're paying a very big price. Iran is a very rich country right now. When I left, they were broke. They were broke. And they would have made a deal very quickly, but now they're very rich, and I think it's very hard to make a deal. The minute I'm back in the White House, not only will I impose the most crippling sanctions in history, we will also unleash the most powerful economic weapon. We will drill, baby, drill. Drill, baby, drill. Most powerful weapon. Can you believe what we're doing with the electric